Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
My+One. We're shooting today with Howie Mandel and his daughter Jackie. Guys, we're in your studio, so thank you.
Change of environment.
Woo.
Yeah.
Thanks for having. Look,
We don't high five.
Do you guys not touch at all?
No.
The high five's a new thing that we just tried.
This is the first high five?
This is our first
high
high.
five.
Usually we go boo boo boo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Poor sound effects, but
No, I like the boo boo boo.
boo 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 boo
Yeah, no, that's
boo.
good.
I love that even while we're doing this, you are experimenting and working through what this show is.
We're trying.
how it goes.
It's obviously it's fairly new. We've never shot at anybody else's studio. I'm like,
This is also a first, yeah.
I feel like it's unfair to sit at your desk right now.
No, it's fair. I think it's more than fair.
I like it. I like this. I feel like we might switch after this.
Yeah, I like this.
Really?
We might put
This
guests
is
there.
comfy.
You get more room to maneuver and.
I feel very relaxed.
Do you?
Yeah.
Which is
Look good.
unusual for her because she's my neurosis, which I'm kind of famous for, my mental health. The apple, if it is an apple and there is a tree, it didn't fall far.
Right.
She's as OCD-ish or
I think in this moment, probably more.
Really?
It probably fluctuates, but in this moment, more than you are.
Right this second?
Probably the second too, but I think within the last year, I've been more OCD than you, or had more anxiety.
I don't
than
think
you
it's
have.
a contest.
I win. It's always a contest. Always.
She's the most competitive person, even about shit.
we're gonna put both your hands underneath a microscope and we're gonna see which one of you guys have more bacteria. That's
For
where.
sure. Him.
That'll make us very comfortable.
So Howie, you have a few kids. You have a son and two more daughters, or
I have 2 daughters. This is my first, and 1 son, and I have 3 grandchildren.
oh yes, because you have a son.
I have 2 kids.
2 kids.
And then the youngest, my sister, just had a baby.
oh wow.
And my son is not
Congrats.
married and doesn't have kids.
But I think he's going to have kids before he ever gets married. I think that's the deal.
It doesn't matter anymore. There's no formula to it. I don't think.
Yeah, no. But
No, it's just that he leaves puddles of sperm wherever he goes. So I think
feet.
somebody's going to sit in it, and that's going to happen.
The grandson does.
no.
No,
Wow, he's up to date. This
My
grandson's ready to go.
brother goes and he leaves puddles of sperm on chairs. So if there's a girl that possibly doesn't like to wear underwear and is wearing a skirt, you never know.
Follow along.
Wow, that's
Never
a tricky
know.
move, but I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a trick. I just think it's something that
there.
it's just him.
It's just a sticky chair, and it's ready to go. It's his method.
Right.
This method.
He marks his territory.
He's a method actor. I love that. So you guys, Howie, first of all, I've only met you, a couple times.
Right.
You've always been super nice.
Right,
I was
really
a
nice.
big fan of you in Little Monsters. I know that's weird to bring up.
Yeah,
but way
huge,
back,
classic
movie.
classic, wonderful.
I auditioned to be one of the briefcase girls for Deal or No Deal. Didn't get that.
Me neither.
Didn't fit into the dress, but that was cool.
I did audition. I didn't get it either.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have no say?
Well, he got me the audition and he didn't have any say on whether or not I got the job.
Wow.
I think he was the deciding factor.
Yeah. Was
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So you're creating, there was not enough tension. You want to create a little bit more.
Yeah, trying to make it
for
fully
us?
visible.
Yes.
Cut it. Yeah.
Yeah, that leads to our next question.
There was no nepotism.
Who's
on
your
Deal or
favorite
No.
kid, and why is it not Jackie?
I think I am the favorite.
She tells me that all the time. And she tells the other 2 siblings that she's the favorite.
And the son's in there.
The son's in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
When you say in there, he's in the control room.
In the control room.
He's running the cameras.
So you essentially just, you ever talk shit about your brother while he's in there and he can't do anything about
He
it?
can hear me. He runs the show. So no, he can make me look as good or as bad as he wants to. He controls the lighting, the camera. So I only speak very highly of him.
Wow.
Smart.
Yeah.
Real smart.
That's right.
That's the only reason that you speak highly of
Only
your
reason.
brother.
Only reason.
That's insane.
And I like him.
It is bizarre to work with your family.
Yeah. Yeah. You do this podcast together, but do you act and stuff too, or do you?
No, I did not want to be in the spotlight or in front of the camera at all. I went to school and got my master's in education, and I was a teacher for 10 years. So I just wanted to teach and be in the classroom.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Big
it.
switcheroo.
Yeah.
Now you do a podcast where you talk about sperm on chairs. It's way more fun.
Yeah.
No, we talk about family. That just happens to be what the family is doing.
First steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more fun though, isn't it?
Well, we came by this, the fact that we do our podcast together was not a plan. It was just because of COVID. And she's a grown up who has her own husband and kids and family, and we don't live, I'm an empty nester and I'm older. So when COVID first came out, it was thought that it was very dangerous to be around elderly people. It was dangerous for elderly people. So the only way we communicated was by phone. So we would have these marathon phone calls where we would, talk to people and then hook other people into the calls and do prank calls and do things like that. And then my wife said, "What is this for?" It's kind of funny. We were laughing a lot. And she said, "You should record it and make it a podcast." And our podcast was just our daily communication. So that's what this is.
Wow.
Just us doing stuff.
That's what happened for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very similar to how we started ours. We started on Clubhouse.
I was on Clubhouse.
Yeah, so we started on that, and we just made these rooms where we were talking shit for hours on end, and would bring random people up and just talk shit with them. And once the world opened back up, we would say, "Hey, let's make this a little bit more professional and keep doing it."
Yeah.
So for me, this is like looking in the mirror. It's like, I don't know who's the father and who's the daughter in that one, but it's exactly.
Clearly my dad. It's
he wrote me into it.
And you have a beautiful young lady.
Thank you. My pride and joy.
I wear a dress for him. That's how I got him on the podcast. No, I mean, I've dragged him into it. He's never been into, I've been doing stand-up forever. Yeah. So for us to do it in studio was kind of easier. But once I made him do it on stage, he's like, "What the fuck am I doing here? This is insane." But you're doing great.
I'm trying. It's out of my comfort zone for sure.
Well, you never wanted to be on camera?
Even that was super out of my comfort zone because I was an editor by trade. So always behind the scenes, behind a monitor, not being the center of attention, always hated it. And never was my plan to get into entertainment on this side of it. My dad's in the industry as well. So I'm just like, he does all that stuff. I'll do my stuff. And here I am in front of live audiences now. And
in front of me and my daughter.
And in front of you guys.
You're doing great.
Camera. Thank you. I'm trying.
But she's not comfortable, and she's not comfortable even if it's not a camera. You're not comfortable publicly. You have social anxiety, so she's not even comfortable going to a party or showing up at anybody's.
In general,
I think we're very similar in that sense.
I live in discomfort.
My social battery is always at 2%.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah. Vinny really tested me these past couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. I said, we're going out. We're doing 4 podcasts. I made him do it.
So you're not an introvert.
I have become more of an introvert. Okay. I have definitely. Bullshit. I used to. No, I have. No, I like it. My circles are way smaller. I've been. Yeah. I only do specific things. I mean, I'm doing stand-up comedy most of the night. So by any other night, I don't want to be out. And
but stand-up comedy, for the most part, is kind of insular. When you are standing on a stage, I don't know if you find it the same way, but I do. When you're standing on the stage, and I love stand-up. Stand-up is my first love, besides all the other things that people know. I mean, that's where I came from, and that's what I do, and I still do.
Great at it too.
Thank you, man. But I was fishing. It took a while.
He does these podcasts for compliments. So the more you give him,
we're not the ones where we shit on people. We're like.
But my point is that when you're standing on stage, there is this kind of disconnect from a real one-on-one conversation or connection when you're in a room with 2 or 3 people, or even like this is kind of easier with a microphone and talking than to actually sit in a room with somebody, which I think you find easier than you want to go to somebody's dinner party, you want to go to somebody's house, you want to go to a birthday party.
I just don't do it.
Neither do I.
Do it.
You don't do anything. You just come to the studio and
this is it. This is my getaway. So when I started doing podcasting, it's because this is the only thing that I have that I feel like comfortable in. Like I could distract myself because I'm with people that I love and that I know. Otherwise, I'm pretty much locked in my house.
She loves me.
Yeah.
She does.
Sometimes.
Was your dad always funny growing up? Like,
no.
Did he?
No. You were always funny to everyone else. But like as a father, he was so hard and so strict.
Did he embarrass you?
He did that too.
Just by existing.
No, and he embarrassed and he embarrassed me.
Well, that's because it's like if you say don't do that, then it makes me want to do that.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like anybody else in anybody's family. I think there is a period where you go through where your parents are just embarrassing, just for existing. It's a.
No, you're making it seem like you did stuff that any other parent or dad would do. You went above and beyond to embarrass me.
I did.
Yeah.
What did he do?
What's an example?
What?
With Vic?
What did I do?
When I was in high school, I was a freshman in high school. So this is already embarrassing to be a freshman in high school. And he came to pick me up, and he picked me up with his friend Vic, who is a shorter man, a very hairy man, all over his body, no hair on his head. He's bald. He got out of the car not wearing a shirt. He was wearing a Speedo. He had a toupee in his Speedo, and he was holding a sign that said, "I'm here for Jackie Mandel. I'm Uncle Vic," with fake blood coming out of his nose and his ears. And he just stayed in the car and watched, and he would go around to all the people in the high school saying, "Have you seen Jackie? I'm her Uncle Vic.
Oh my God.
And I'm here to pick her up."
Because she
so
didn't-
most parents don't do shit like that.
Well, she's not telling you the whole story. Because she was embarrassed. She said, "Don't pick me up. It's embarrassing that my dad is Howie Mandel, so don't pick me up." So that's why I had Uncle Vic to show her what embarrassing was. It was a teachable moment.
That is a fatherly lesson right there.
It was a lesson. It's
Honestly,
not
now I only request Uncle Vic to pick me up. It's at the airport. Yeah, I get off Southwest Airlines, and
we have a picture. We have the pillow.
Yeah.
Somebody who's listening, go grab the pillow.
oh, I seen it.
Go grab the pillow from
Of
the.
Uncle
I want
Vic?
to see this.
Uncle Vic was at every event,
Is
every
somebody
party.
doing that?
Never wearing clothes.
It's in the front on the.
On the sofa, I walked in.
Yeah, it's on the sofa on the Caesar's Palace sofa. Is anybody from my team listening?
No.
No.
Okay.
This is gonna get
As
as soon as I walk in, my first impression of this studio is we see the cool fish tank, and then we see the chair, and there's a dude wearing a thong on a pillow, and I'm like,
Uncle Vic.
this could be a fun podcast because.
That's where
Well, that
your eyes
chair
go.
is the original center booth from Caesar's Palace.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
It is. And above that is Johnny Carson's last cue card. That light right beside you right there is the light. That not the old fashioned one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
box,
that's Sean. That was the key light for Johnny Carson when he did the Tonight Show out here. Yeah.
Wow, you have so many cool things in this.
Well,
studio.
I got a lot of shit that my wife won't let me bring home.
I mean, that's what I
She'll let
would
me bring
do.
you home though.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's the pillow.
Here.
Oh wow.
So that's
I
Uncle
see
Vic.
it.
Look at this.
But that
ass.
wasn't even as
This is
bad.
Uncle Vic.
Yeah, that's the Speedo and the hairpiece.
Oh my God. And you were
But
That was that
hairpiece-
same day. We took
Same
that.
day.
No,
Wow.
that hairpiece was in his Speedo.
Look at
when
that
he
ass
picked
though,
me
Uncle
up.
Vic.
Here?
He does have a good badonkadonk.
Wow.
Weird close up.
Do you think I could get one of these pillows made, or?
You can have
want
that.
And you were embarrassed.
No.
You were embarrassing this guy.
Do not give away that pillow.
Why? You see? At first she was embarrassed.
See, now she
then you
likes
grow
Uncle Vic.
attached. You don't know what you have.
Memories.
Most kids are
You know you want it
most kids
until
are
it's gone.
snuggling with like little stuffed animals. You snuggle with Uncle Vic's ass.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
worry,
she
Vinny.
didn't snuggle with his ass. Why are you taking it there? It was just
Vinny, I'll make
whole
it into a
thing.
body
The pillow.
pillow for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I know you.
I
get
want one of
it.
you, Tony.
When I was heavier, or now that I'm skinny, which one?
Oh yeah, I like.
Did you
heavy
lose the
Tony.
weight?
225 pounds.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank you,
buddy.
yeah. Thank you. It was like post college. In COVID, I graduated right when COVID hit, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So I just started eating more. I was also heavy throughout college, and drinking, and then I just stopped all that and switched up my
I
whole
feel
lifestyle.
like me and you are the same person.
Why
Yeah.
you were 400 pounds?
I wasn't 400.
425.
You were 400 pounds?
425
Oh
pounds.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we
I'm
start-
189 pounds now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when we started doing this podcast,
Congratulations.
we were
you.
backlogging, and then we
couldn't do it. Yeah.
we realized that we couldn't release old episodes too late because you'd be like, how did Tony get fat within 2 weeks?
I either gained like
Going-
50 pounds in a week or lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, because
based
it
on
was
what
like we
releasing.
backlogged all the episodes, but he lost 220 pounds within filming. So
Did you do Ozempic?
That was part of it. So I did
Gastric?
gastric sleeve, and which just it's a tool to help with weight loss. It kind of stops or breaks the wheel that you're in. Because I was in the cycle of eating because I was sad because I was fat because I was eating. So it was just a continuous cycle. I couldn't break it. I did the surgery to help. And for those of you who don't know, the surgery is your stomach's kind of shaped like a cashew, and they surgically remove the bulbous part of your stomach that expands and contracts when you eat. So your stomach is quite literally, I mean, I'm trying to find an example here, but like this small. It can't expand at all. And eventually,
so you're always full?
So I could take one bite of like, I don't know, like a Cheez-It, and I'll be full based off that. So it fixes your appetite. And then over time it heals and your stomach could stretch back out to its original size. But during that time, you're supposed to recondition your relationship with food.
And did you?
And I did. Yeah.
Do you feel like totally? Well, I don't know you, but I'm proud of you.
Thank you. No, and I'm an open book about this. I know some people.
You should be.
Like, yeah, I'm proud of it. That's the
problem. See, that's also our thing in life. Removing stigma from humanity, and whether that is my own personal mental health issues and everybody's, or whether it's diet or. These are all mental health issues.
Yeah.
And I think the more that people, and we've always been open in our house talking about it, the more people talk about it, the more normalized all this becomes, and the healthier we become as a community, as humans.
But finishing your question on the Ozempic side of things, once I lost most of the weight, I lost it so fast I had a bunch of loose skin. So I got a body tuck, which that surgery was way harder than the
I hear that's really
sleep.
painful.
Yeah, and since I was in such good health, they declared that I was able to get my front half and back half done at the same time. So it made recovery even harder. But they ended up removing 12 pounds of excess skin and fat. But to get to that weight in time, I did Ozempic for like 3 months leading up to it, just to get me down to like as low as possible. But I kept losing weight after I got that surgery done. So I still have.
You're not losing anymore. You look like you're in good shape.
No.
I'm fatter than he is now, and it's pissing me off to be honest.
But I mean, I love talking about it because I've had people reach out to me on Instagram being like, "Thank you so much for sharing. Like, it's inspired me to start this journey as well."
She's just talking about after college. She went up to college in Santa Cruz, and I think you were partaking in what Santa Cruz is famous for.
Yeah, I was smoking a lot of pot, so I had a lot of munchies.
That's what I did my freshman year.
I ate a lot.
Yeah.
I've done that.
My freshman 15 turned into freshman 150. So
that was mine too.
Yeah.
I had a phase.
I was over 200.
No way.
Yeah.
See, the pot will do. I remember when I had my smoking weed period, my buddy and I thought it'd be a good idea to shoot a little sketch while we were high. The sketch was 1 minute long. It took us 6 hours. We ordered food twice. We got Chinese and pizza. And by the time we finished the sketch, we're like, this is terrible. We're not even going to put it out. Never even put it out. We used to just
It was just for fun.
It was an excuse for us to get together and eat food.
Yeah.
That's the dangerous thing about weed. So you don't smoke anymore, obviously.
I don't, but not because of that. It has to do with my anxiety. It doesn't help me.
Same.
It's the worst thing for me. And not for everyone, just for me personally. Whenever I smoke, I have horrible anxiety.
Do you think the being like the germaphobe too, adds to the anxiety, makes it worse because you're worried about one extra thing? Or
my OCD is the germaphobe thing didn't start till later on in life. I was always anxious. I was always compulsive. I was always fixated on certain things, but the germ thing actually didn't start until way later, only a few years ago. So I was mostly always worried about other stuff.
I don't think people understand OCD. OCD has become a vernacular. People go, I got a little bit of that too. And they're just persnickety people who want to be neat or keep things in order or want to wash their hands a lot. That's not what OCD is. OCD is the inability to stop intrusive thoughts. And whether you land on an intrusive thought being there's bacteria on your hand, and so much so that even regardless of how intelligent or aware or whatever is going on in your world, you can't stop washing your hands. You can't stop washing your hands. You can't walk out of the bathroom for hours and hours and hours, and it makes no sense. And you've washed your hand, and that you're not going to get sick, and but you can't stop it. That thought just keeps going. Think of a skipping record. That's when it's compulsive. That's when it's so compulsive that you can't stop. And whether that is the inability to stop doing a ritual where you got to tap everything 7 times, or a real negative, dark, violent thought that continues to go in your head, or whatever. It's not as simple as just being a germaphobe. So we both have diagnosed OCD and anxiety. and depression, and these are all things that really can affect and your life, your everyday life. And some people handle it with eating, some people handle it with drugs, some people handle it with being a workaholic, just trying to distract themselves. It's just whatever gets you through the day, coping. And that's why when you talk about whatever your issue was, it's like we, especially today, in today's world where media is not media. When I grew up, I'm an old guy, but when I grew up, media was the newspaper, or a magazine or the 5 o'clock news. But now everybody, some idiot sitting in his underpants on a stained mattress in Wisconsin, is social media. He can start the ball rolling. Yeah. So where everybody's judging you and they can comment, it's just so hard. There's just too much coming at you that, whether that's perceived body image or perceived wealth, we are totally bombarded with never feeling good enough. What we're seeing online. It's
getting worse. And I get it too, because I have mad anxiety and depression. I got this prescribed Zoloft yesterday because I was trying something else. I mean, I think it's the same thing where it's, everyone's always critical of each other and competing with each other. Now it's just heightened with social media. It's just like it used to be.
But that's the milieu that we all live in. That's what it is. When you are watching anything, whether it's social media, platform, and everything, it's a competitive. There's a competitiveness to achieve whatever it is you're watching, to look as good as whoever you're seeing, be as wealthy as who's ever doing it. Whether you're just even doing a podcast like this, you will look, and I will too. I'll look at the numbers to see how many clicks this episode got, but I'll see the episode that came on right after it, and it's got more. And like everything is set up where if you're not in the right mindset, you could feel bad about absolutely everything. That wasn't, as a child, that was not around me. Until I started stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy kind of is around in that way. It was weird. I loved doing stand-up, and then when it came to the Comedy Store, I didn't feel that way. I loved the ability to just go on stage and to just do it. I don't need notoriety, and I didn't need. I swear to you that if I was doing something else in life, if I was, a gardener, and twice a week I can go to a club and just stand there and do that. That really does satisfy me.
It is the best.
I love doing stand-up.
Same.
But the truth is, when you went to the Comedy Store in the early 70s, you would go on stage and you would hear the audience roaring, and then you'd get off stage, and then the next guy would go on, and the laughter would be a little bit louder and a little bit more, and you go, "Look, that's right in your face." So there became, I didn't feel it, but there was an overall kind of competition where you're seeing that if the audience is a girl, that girl likes the next guy better than they liked you. Yeah. And when people were getting jobs and other people, we were fighting to get on the Tonight Show and things like that, there's a lot of jealousy. I came out here on a dare and started doing stand-up on a dare, and my comedy, for all intents and purposes, was just kind of vacuous silliness, which is a brand.
Yeah,
it is something, and I did well with it. And
your comedy was a dare. Oh my God! Whoever dares you to do that, you should.
I do.
You should love them forever.
I do. But the truth of the matter is that there was a lot of resentment toward my comedy at the Comedy Store.
Why?
Because at the time, if you did a political comedy, or you were a monologist, or you were, I was on a Young Comedian special originally on HBO, and the other young comedians that were on with me were Jerry Seinfeld, Richard Lewis, Harry Anderson, and it was the Smothers Brothers that hosted it. Same. And when I got dared to go on, I went on as, I think people used to, even when you were a kid, they used to think I was on drugs, right?
Yeah, coke.
Yeah, they thought I was on coke because, so they're friends, because my thing was that they went, ladies and gentlemen, Howie Mandel, and I didn't really have anything, so I would go, okay, all right, and then they would start laughing at me going, okay, and trying to come back. I was just terrified. And then I'd take a rubber glove out of my pocket, which I carried because I had OCD and didn't want to touch anything in public restrooms when I was out, and pull it over my head and blow it up, and they'd roar, and then I got the Young Comedian special. George Carlin's wife hired me. She saw me. She liked me. And then I started just like holding up props and being kind of silly. And other comics who are wordsmiths and monologists and that, it's just like I feel that Carrot Top sometimes unfairly gets made fun of. Yet he's been able to sell out a room in Vegas for the last 15 years, and people love him. Very but why? True. Because he has props, but he builds those props, he engineers those props, and he comes up with material, and audiences like it. But people will, I know that for many years, even on the David Letterman show when he was doing the top 10, I would be the joke in the top 10, and we'll make him sit through a Howie Mandel concert. Oh, wow. So I just feel like, amongst ourselves in our own industry, there is a sense of competitiveness, and
I think that's society. I don't know if that's just your industry. That's society as a whole. You see people being very jealous, I think is the word, on social media all the time. I heard that when Charli D'Amelio was reaching millions and millions of people. Why? Everyone would be like, why? What's so special about her? She's just dancing. And because she didn't, let's say, she wasn't working for it the way that you thought she should work for it, or she wasn't doing as much as you thought she should do, or even the Kardashians. Everyone's always picking on people that have all this great success because it's not what they think should be successful. And they didn't get there the way they think that they should have gotten there.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, knowing Chris, I've known Kris Jenner forever, one of the hardest working people there is. I mean, she is an amazing marketer and promoter and incredibly busy, and they work, whether they, and it's really set them up for incredibly mean, harsh judgment,
Yeah, I mean, everything you say, I understand. It is critical outside of comedy everywhere, and it's also critical in comedy because you start doing something different, even when Matt Rife started posting all of his crowd work, and then some comics would be like, oh, it's just crowd work, where's the material? No matter what, there's always going to be people judging you in any industry.
But I think she hit it. It's jealousy.
It's jealousy and envy, and that's what you see so much. I mean, there's always been that. Obviously, you're talking about when you started, but now even more so with social media, because everyone just wants what they can't have. They're striving for something that they think they deserve and this person doesn't deserve.
And it's accessible to everybody now.
That's what I was going to say. I think what differs is, before social media, you'd look at a movie star and it seems like almost a unobtainable status, whereas now social media, everyone has access to it, and you see someone go viral for something and they build a career off of it, and then you can't help but to think, what's stopping me from doing that? I could do that.
Yeah. Why the Haktua girl and not me?
I know.
Yeah.
There's a guy
that's something you don't want to hear your daughter say.
I know. You're already doing well. You don't need a Haktua.
No Haktuas for my daughter.
You're done. You're good. You're on a podcast. You got your thing. No, I agree. Yeah. Everyone's famous now. I saw a guy been doing comedy for 15 years. I saw a guy famous for slicing bread. I'm like, you son of a bitch. All he does is go slices bread, and then it falls famous? Over.
Have you seen those
slices? And then I talk all this shit, but I still follow him.
Have you seen those slices?
It's good. Yeah, they're good slices. They're perfect. Slices. I go, you can't hate this guy. Just whites. Let's just ride today.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he's got best thing since sliced bread.
I'm out of here. Well, there's no need for a comedy anymore. This is good.
Yes.
Is your dad ever try to get you to do stand up?
No. I think he knows that I wouldn't like it. He did. I was on Bobby's World once.
Oh.
Which was very cool. And
maybe they don't know what Bobby's World. I did a Saturday morning cartoon on Fox.
Yeah.
And that was very cool. And then one time I did a commercial, and he asked me if I wanted to do a commercial with him. I said yes. And then as soon as we pulled up to the commercial, I started crying. I didn't want to do it. The whole crew was there. I had to go through with it, but he never had me do anything in show business again because he felt so bad that I was so distraught.
Big, giant national McDonald's commercial. I'll give you the clip of it I don't know if you play clips on this.
Yeah, well, we don't, but we do now.
I'll show you the clip of the commercial. It's her at McDonald's. She's adorable in it, but it was a day of hell, and I felt like I was, abusing my child by making them. It's kind of interesting, because this was a dare for me, and because I absolutely love getting up and just standing in front of an audience, and whether that audience is of 4, I will spend, when it was storming here in LA, I'll go at midnight and drive to Pasadena and get up on stage at the Ice House with 5 people unannounced. And that's more enjoyable to me than, big gigs. And I don't do it because I want you to know who I am. And I don't do it because I need any more money. I do it because it's just a fun hobby. I'm not somebody I don't play sports. I don't gamble. I don't dance. I do stand-up comedy and
he does dance. He dances.
Okay, we're gonna cut to a clip of how he dances.
You can. TikTok. I have a lot of followers on TikTok. She makes me dance. But the truth of the matter is, she got her master's in urban education, and was teaching in Crenshaw and East LA and downtown. And I went a couple times to just see what she was doing. And the truth is that what she does changes lives. She taught at kindergarten and first grade. You have kids who are in college now calling you, who she made a difference in somebody's life. I act like an idiot, and I'll walk into a room and people want to meet me. I've done nothing worthy of being met. Whereas I think our society today is really fucked up in the sense that, what people seem to appreciate and want to gravitate toward, their priorities are totally screwed up. They really are. I
understand that. I mean, but that's where stand-up is nice, because you get the immediate gratification is fulfilling for me. But what I also get to see is a bunch of people happy. I mean, that's the nice thing about it. And if you want, you could do anything with your stand-up. You could talk about, you could talk about your real feelings, or, you could talk about real things. When I was doing jokes about losing my dad, or doing jokes about my brain tumor when I was a kid, like, I would do these things that were dark, and I was trying to make them funny. But then I would get people messaging me going, wow, thank you for sharing that. I'm going through that. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, cool. At least I'm not a clown. Like, it's just nice to be able to.
I came out here in the 70s, and I went to the Comedy Store, which was the place to hang out if it wasn't the Improv. And I watched Richard Pryor every night get up on stage and do his, he put together what I believe is the seminal, stand-up comedy concert live on the Sunset Strip. I think without that show and him, there wouldn't be a Chappelle. There wouldn't be a lot of people that there are today. And he was the first person that I was able to kind of not articulate, but understand that everybody that I loved that I knew about up until that time was like the Rodney Dangerfields and the George Carlins, had an act where they would, if you're familiar with any of George Carlin's old stuff, it was like the hippy dippy weatherman and or these routines. Whereas Carlin was the first person I felt that was obviously talking about his real world, and whether that was drug abuse, family members, trouble with relationships, and people were, and in the 70s, sometimes the things that he was talking about were jaw-droppingly real edgy. Yeah. They would not seem edgy today, but at that time,
oh my God.
Yeah, so you got to put it, and I thought, oh, you could be yourself. Like, there's nothing that you see in me that is anything like Richard Pryor, except for the fact that I decided if I feel, and I'm not like the okay anymore, because that was authentic. I was just really scared and had nothing. And I said, okay, so I'm going to go up. My thing is to go up sans preparation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have any preparation, and I'm just going to, and people are laughing at, like, I don't know what to do. And people are and that's kind of a lane. That's kind of a reality that I could live, and people, and listen, I ended up selling out huge venues in the early 80s and getting my own Saturday morning cartoon and getting a series and buying it. It worked for me. That's because I was inspired by Richard Pryor. So my point is to what you were saying is all comedy comes out of darkness. It always comes out of, I say this all the time. Any joke, if you are a little kid that is laughing at a clown falling down at the circus, what you're laughing at is the misfortune of
falling.
Of somebody, someone looking that you don't know, goofy. That's a bad thing. He fell down. But it's funny because it's a clown. When you tell a standard joke, two guys walk into a bar, it's not a joke unless something horrible happens to one of them or awkward. So when you talk about your father, that's where comedy comes from. The problem is, and I think it's swinging back now, the pendulum is swinging back now, is there shouldn't be an ever too soon or off limits. And I think that your father is one of the who, to me, he's kind of a hero in the sense that when the pendulum swung away from that freedom, I get that you could say something that might offend somebody. Yeah. I get that you could say something that they think is totally politically incorrect. But in the guise of comedy, you just you can hate it. Yeah. You can not watch it. Yeah. You could turn it off, but you can't cancel it.
Yeah, I agree. God, I'm so tired of it myself just watching it.
I think it's swinging back the other way.
I think so too.
The people that are selling out the biggest.
Oh yeah, the roast was what?
Like
the Tom Brady roast.
Tom Brady roast really swung a ton.
Yeah, but even before the Tom Brady roast, the people from Austin, the people like Tony Hinchcliffe's and Kill Tony and the Shane Gillis's and the thing, he was brought back to Saturday Night Live, which he got fired from. Yeah. These are all things that are, but your dad was on the forefront of doing that and standing up for Chappelle. Whether you agreed with what he said, it's not even the point. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's a comedian.
I know.
I was talking to my dad throughout that whole process, and he's stuck true to his feelings on the entire thing throughout the entire way. He's like, it's comedy, it's subjective. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
What I loved about it is that, the reason the pendulum swung the wrong way, I believe, because we are all chasing the buck. And it's about money, and it's about corporations, and it's about if you said something wrong, especially somebody like me, I'm on network TV, and which is totally supported by corporate America, whether that's Ford, and if I say something off color or politically incorrect, they can call NBC and Universal and get rid of me or whatever they want to do. Netflix is a huge corporation too that is supported by members, people are paying per month. So that was big to stand up to. But you know what? That takes a lot.
It caused issues within the entire company too. Like
I saw that.
With the inner workings of the company, there were employees walking out and everything, and he's like, you have the right to do that. Go for it. He worked from home for a couple of days. Right, understandably so.
Right.
But yeah, I was proud of him for that.
You should be.
Yeah.
Listen, I know him, but I don't know him. But I'm telling you, as a comedian, I love your father. I as a comedian, because I just thought that this is, what is art? Is art painting? Is art singing? Art is everything. Art is how we express ourselves. Yeah. Comedy is an art form. And how can you take away any shade that anybody wants to paint that art with? So it's like, you can come and try to make us laugh, but don't talk about this. Don't even give us your opinion on this. Yeah. There was a time, I'm older, where you could say something and watch that somebody might be offended, and then you were okay if you went, hey, I was just joking.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a comedian, that was okay, as long as they understood the context was joking.
Right.
Then they took that away from the professional jokester. The comedian wasn't allowed to just be joking anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm on that side. It's funny because I've never really seen you live. The first time I saw you live on stage in person, we did Mike Binder's show together, which, shout out to Mike, by the way. I love Mike to death.
He's awesome. He's the guy that put me on stage here in California.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, I went up in Toronto on the Dare, and I was doing it. I didn't want to, and he's from Detroit. So
Mike was the Dare guy?
No.
The other Dare.
That was my hobby. I wasn't even still pursuing comedy because him and Dave Coulier and those guys were in Detroit.
Yeah.
They used to drive over the border into Canada and come on play at Yuck Yuck. So I knew they were real comics. They were people who were trying to pursue it. When I came to California on a vacation. He said, "Hey, I can get you a spot at the Comedy Store."
Oh, wow.
So he got me up at the Comedy Store. When I went up at the Comedy Store that first night, there was a producer in there, George Foster, who had a comedy game show called Make Me Laugh. That was my first TV show.
Oh, no way.
So Binder kind of started my career.
Wow. Yeah, he's the best, but he's the reason we even get you to do this. So I'm grateful to him. But the first show I did get to see you live, we got to do was Mike's show. But it's funny. Do most people not know in stand up that you can be edgy? Because when everyone watches you in network television and you have to be clean or you have to be like, and then you get to do stand up. It's just exciting because I was excited when you said fuck. I go, let's go, Howie.
I think that most people don't know him from his stand-up anymore. Or like his newer audience is from like the AGTs or even the Bobby's World. I remember they used to bring their kids because they were fans of Bobby's World, and they would bring them to a stand-up show and be like, "Oh my gosh," and like rush their kids out because his stand-up is so dirty and so inappropriate and so not what you see on AGT or what you saw when you saw him in Bobby's World or any of the other corporate stuff that you do. So everyone's always so shocked, but that's been his comedy. Way before he did
and always
stuff.
Continued to be. I haven't done comedy on television.
I feel like Bob Saget was like that too.
Bob Saget was the same thing.
Oh, the dirty.
Right, but I don't know that I'm dirty as much as I'm not an unedited, because I love my comedy to just be kind of free flowing, and I don't want to worry about it. And I'm a responsible broadcaster, so if I'm on network TV, I was lucky enough to get these jobs. My audience has always been incredibly fractured. When I did that Young Comedian special, I blew up in 1980 and 81 as a comic, and I was selling out big venues. And then I got on a dramatic television show. I did a show called Saint Elsewhere, which is Denzel Washington came out of that. And I was on a dramatic show for 6 years. That audience, there wasn't even the internet. That audience did not know that I was the same goofy guy that put the glove. I used to get fan letters to say, I have a bet with my husband that you're not the same guy that puts the glove on your head. And then, as she was saying, I got a job I developed a Saturday morning cartoon. And then that was young mothers and their kids who were watching Saturday morning. They didn't know I was the guy from St. Elsewhere or the guy doing stand-up. And at that time I was doing I did about 6 or 7 HBO specials, and that audience didn't know me from St. Elsewhere until I was about to leave the business in 2005. And then I got Deal or No Deal. And Deal or No Deal is the first time that kind of all those audiences converged, in fact, because I had mentioned it, that I was the same guy. But since Deal or No Deal premiered in 2005, I haven't done specials. I just want to go to the clubs and kind of just work out and do it. I don't do it. I don't have the need to go do it on TV and to do an hour and I just don't.
Just have fun with it. If you that's what you want, that's all that matters.
But what's great is today, people will come up to me any given time when I'm out in public. If they're older, they'll come up to me and go, I used to love you as a stand-up. I wish you still did stand-up. And I do. You saw me do it. You're in that business and you saw me.
It's good to hear that though, man. I mean, that's awesome.
I do 4 or 5 times a week.
Why wouldn't you do a special yourself and do like a YouTube one like Ari Shaffir does and stuff? Why do you need a...
I was going to ask that. That's good to hear.
Jew too?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jew too. Yeah. Do you still think your dad is funny? Does he make you laugh around the house and like?
Yeah. I think
we don't live together.
We don't live together.
Well, yeah.
I'm almost 40. He likes to tell people, so we don't live together. But I do think he's funny, and I think he's one of the best at crowd work. And
he is great at crowd work. Yeah,
really good at crowd work, and that was always my favorite to go watch him. Whenever he was touring, I was usually there, and when I was old enough, I would go watch him. And my favorite was every single show was different because depending on the crowd, very rarely did you do like your written jokes. It was almost all crowd work, and it was so much fun to watch. So I do think he's very funny.
Who do you think's the funniest kid in the family?
My sister.
The other sister?
Yeah.
Riley?
Is she not the funniest?
She is. She's
weird.
very dry.
She's really weird.
Very dry and quiet and weird. No desire to be on camera at all.
We call her the secret sister.
Secret sister.
You guys have your family's still together, which is beautiful. And that's crazy because, I came from divorced parents, but it's very common now for families not to be together anymore. But it is nice to see.
I've been married 44 years.
That's incredible, man. That really is. It's because, coming from parents that was divorced, it was tough. So the fact that your whole family is still, close, I hope.
Yeah, we are really close.
Really
we
close.
work together. We see each other.
We
pretty
talk
much
every day.
Yeah,
he tries to see my brother every day, but my brother's doing his own thing all the time.
He's making puddles.
We
of
almost
sperm.
had him on. We almost had your brother in here.
Really?
Alex?
Yeah.
Alex, you should step in here.
He's a behind the scenes.
No, he won't do it.
He
I don't think he'll
almost
do
did
it.
it.
He left. He
left.
said.
He
did?
left.
Yeah, see?
Wow. Did he
See?
leave?
That's my point.
He hates doing it on camera?
He's not. He
He does
started.
whatever he wants. He's busy with his
living the
sperm.
life.
Yeah.
Busy with
Making
his
sperm puddles.
He's got puddles to leave.
Yeah.
Things to do.
Oh, since he's not here though, and he can't stop us. Since he's not here and he can't stop us, I'm looking for a girlfriend for him. So let's just put it out there
Wow.
in the world that if anyone is interested in dating my brother, I would love a
You know
sister-in-law.
what she did? She got in trouble for this. She joined dating sites
At
under,
Match.com.
under
For
his
him?
name.
Yeah.
Under
Under
his
his
name.
name,
You
and
made
I would
profiles
talk
for
to
him?
girls
Whoa.
as him. And when I found one that I'd like, I tried to pass it along. But I was talking to so many girls.
You
as my
catfished
brother.
for your brother?
Yes. Is that
Did he ever?
bad?
Did he ever
Is that
meet any of
wrong?
them?
He did meet one.
Okay. Well, when he met this one, he's like,
He didn't tell her.
because I'm assuming you and your brother talk very different.
No,
So,
when it came to
did
like
she
the phone
know?
calls, then I would pass along the
Okay.
information. He would call.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it's
Oh,
not
that's like a
she heard
whole,
You
it.
like,
set him up
study
on
sheet.
blind dates, and then the girls just show up with lazy eyes.
Well, okay. What's his type?
No.
What's his type?
What's that?
What?
So
What's what?
show up with a lazy eye.
What's a lazy eye?
That's
What are
not.
you
What are you
doing?
doing with your mouth?
What are you
Why
doing?
does a lazy eye have to?
What's a lazy
You look like you have
eye?
a stroke. Are you okay?
What are you doing?
No, Vinny, a lazy eye is only when one
One
goes. Both of your
eye.
eyes
No,
are
that's
apart.
not.
do it.
That's not. I talk about that. That's not.
What?
No?
No, if you have one eye that goes off to the left,
It's working hard.
isn't that's the opposite of lazy?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's an initiative.
I know.
That's your eyes are fucking lazy. They're just hanging where your head is.
Yeah.
If an eye is willing to go off on its own,
Yeah.
that's the
That's an
opposite of fucking
overachiever
lazy.
eye.
That's an
Yeah.
overachiever. That's an eye with initiative.
Yeah.
You're right, actually.
I agree.
Yeah.
Chameleons do that.
Uh-huh.
That's
What?
true.
Looking around.
Chameleons. It's more information. than
Comedians?
pulling.
Yeah.
Chameleons, the little lizards.
I always get chameleons and comedians mixed
Same
up.
thing.
Yeah, because they're always doing the same thing. So wait a second. Did he
Eating
go on any
flies.
dates with these
He did.
girls?
He went on one, and then he asked me to stop.
Oh.
But I still have the accounts open.
Okay, so do you know his type?
I do know his type.
No, she doesn't.
He
She knows her
clearly
type.
didn't like the girl that she set him up with.
Well, if we're trying to help here now, I got to know some information.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no. Let's just keep the doors open to anyone.
Okay.
Okay.
He doesn't need help. I mean, he does well.
He does fine.
Follow him on
He talks
Instagram.
differently to his
He
dad.
does
He tells
fine
his-
with having fun and
on
creating
Inst-
cuddles.
Creating
but I'm
cuddles.
looking for a sister-in-law.
I talk about he has a model rescue service.
A model rescue
rescue
service.
Yeah, he takes in
He
wounded
literally has
models.
3 models living in his house right now.
Yes, he takes in wounded models
He's
and
fine.
nurses them back to health, and
Amazing.
health.
Sounds
And
like
then
he's-
when there's a talk of commitment, he releases them back into the
Wow.
wild.
Okay,
He
so
doesn't
we'll
even-
talk.
Can I invest into that business? It sounds pretty
It's not
good.
a business; it's a lifestyle.
We'll talk. We'll how about this? We'll sabotage my sister's current relationship, and then we'll set them up.
Is she
Oh my
cool?
God, you're going
She's great.
there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going there. I don't care.
Wait,
You don't
you
like
don't
him?
like him?
No, I do. He's great.
Liar.
Oh,
I said he's great. He's
We're gonna have to
great.
edit that out.
Yeah,
No,
No,
it's
no.
fine. I like Ben.
okay.
For the most
Is it an
part.
older
No, I'm
sister or
kidding.
younger sister?
Older by 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's off in New York though, doing her own thing. She's producing movies.
But
and
what does
stuff.
Ben do? Your sister.
What?
Oh my God.
Is that too soon?
I mean,
We're gonna go to video footage here of Ben with your
I'm
sister.
and their
his sister
sister?
and Ben?
no, he was bartending in New York, and now he's writing and acting in movies.
Her movies?
Her movies, yeah.
Yes.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you did. Her movies.
Yeah,
Her
you did.
movies. Well,
He
it
was a
was.
bartender, and now she's a producer and a writer and doing okay.
Well, I don't know. You're giving her a little too much credit with the writing side of things. I don't
You
know.
gave her that.
Yeah, you said
You
that.
said writing and producing
no,
movies.
he
No,
said
no, no.
producing.
producing.
Okay. So she doesn't write.
Sister's killing it. She's doing great.
She's doing great. I hats off to her though, because she had a big span of really not knowing where she wanted to land, and then she tried the whole producing thing.
No, we don't. Your sister's doing good.
Nobody's luckier than Ben.
Yeah.
Ben's doing good.
Yeah, because she's doing it.
That's like all you do.
Talk about the +1,
right?
Oh man, we're gonna have to have her on with Ben.
We'll pull him on. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Are you still married?
Yeah,
married. And did you ever not like any of your kids?
I was gonna ask, what was it like introducing
everyone
of my boyfriends?
Everyone.
What about the husband?
Them all, or you did not?
Hated.
Really?
Hate.
Do you like her husband?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did it take a while?
No, he was my friend since high school.
Oh, there
I kept saying, why not Alex? Why not Alex? And she'd always pick, he was the go-to at every breakup.
My husband and my brother have the same name. So he's
it's not the same person.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Wow.
Yeah. Alex is my husband. But he was always asking why. You probably liked him. He has OCD and his thing is germs too. So he's like, this guy's great.
Clean.
He's really clean.
That's good.
Yeah.
He's just breeding clean.
Having your husband, does he have a nickname that you call him or anything like that? Because does it ever get weird calling your husband the same name as your brother?
I say brother Alex a lot, or husband Alex, or your
brother
Alex
like
and
he's
my Alex.
a monk.
Like
brother.
Brother Alex.
Or your Alex and my Alex.
Yes.
Yeah, because my sister's names are weird. So if I had
what's your sister's name?
I have twin sisters, Dara and Gianna. So if I ever had to date a girl and her name was Gianna, it would freak me out.
Really?
I mean, that's an instant deal breaker.
Not as much as
You know who the girl is that I hooked Alex up with? My brother. Her name was Jackie.
No.
The girl
I was gonna say
from
for me,
Match.com.
for me, instantly, if I come across someone and their name is Sarah, I will never date them.
Really?
I can't even like.
Is that your sister's name?
It's my sister's name. Yeah.
You want to date somebody with your mother's name?
Yeah.
Michelle? I don't know. I think that's the same line.
Can you marry a Howie?
Howie.
I feel like are there any Howies left?
Is there a Howie?
No. There's no Howies.
You never see anybody carrying a baby going, look at my Howie.
Howard.
There's no Howard babies.
Yeah.
Too bad. I'm gonna name my
You don't see
Howie.
babies with full-grown names anymore.
Or maybe one of the sperm
I think
chair
they
babies
all have
turns out to
full-grown
be
names. What are you talking about?
Full-grown name. What's a full-grown name? What's
Howard.
a full-grown name?
I mean, you don't look at a child like a baby be like Howard.
Yeah,
That's like a librarian name.
Howard.
But give me a
Librarian.
name. Give me a name.
No.
His birth name Howard?
Is my birth name Howard? Yes.
Yeah.
Howard. Yeah.
Give you a name.
No, like any name is a full-grown name.
He means like Bertha, like an old-timey
name.
Yeah, old-timey like matured name.
Fitzgerald.
Susan.
Like, would you ever date a Susan?
Yeah.
This is my baby Fitzgerald.
Karen, but anything
Karen.
like Karen. Look at
There's a lot of Karens.
baby Karens.
Not anymore. No one will
Look
do
at
that.
Karen.
Yeah,
Look at Karen. Oh, Karen spit
Yeah,
on
she'll
me.
do your taxes for you. That's what I mean. Like you
Just have a baby. This is Lloyd.
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 Yeah, Lloyd.
Larry. Baby Larry.
Baby Larry. See, every name for a baby sounds funny.
Yeah, it is. Comes out with a mustache. That's good.
Well, that's a European girl.
Or an Italian baby.
Yeah.
That was like with my dog. I almost wanted to name them just human names. Just because it's funny when you yell human name shit.
Yeah, our dogs all have human names.
My dog
is
has
it?
pretty
I don't.
human names.
Buffy? Buffy is
Yours is
not
definitely
Buffy.
a dog name.
Mine's a dog name.
Mine are pretty human. Cora and Stella.
Kind of doggy.
Stella is very human.
But I'm talking about like, hey, here's Frank, and he's just licking his balls on the couch. Frank.
Well, I named mine after my uncle.
What's your dog's name?
That uncle?
Uncle Vic?
Uncle Vic?
My Uncle Spot.
Oh.
Spot.
Uncle Spot. Uncle Rocco.
Uncle Buddy?
Bambi. So, all right. Well, I feel like we don't want to take too much of your time.
Wrapping up.
We're gonna end on the dog
We're
name.
ending on the dog names.
So we're wrapping
We
up.
just have 45 more minutes. No, I honestly don't even know how long we've been going.
Neither do I. And neither does anybody
timeless.
listening or watching.
I just, yeah.
Mom's calling. I'll take
She
this
was
call.
she
Wrap
was
it up.
calling
She's
me.
calling me. Hang
Take
on.
that.
hang
Do you
on.
want to talk to Mom?
Hello?
Yeah, this is perfect. Put her on.
Put her on.
Yeah.
Put her on.
Hi, I'm just wrapping up.
Squirrel.
Okay.
That didn't sound fun at all.
See,
I was supposed to,
Do stuff?
well, I didn't tell her I was doing this. So
Oh, really?
she's waiting at the restaurant.
She's
she was
been
going to have
calling
lunch.
me.
you're going to have,
So I stood her up. She was
you
at the.
stood her up?
Yeah.
You
She
could
was
have had her
married.
on.
I brought the wrong +1.
We could have brought her on and had lunch.
She's sitting at a restaurant in the valley going, where are you? I go, I forgot.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah.
Well, I wish you had some embarrassing stories.
So maybe she'll know what it's like to be you.
Of what?
Of your dad before you go. Give us one embarrassing story of yours.
It wasn't enough with the
I think the Uncle Vic was pretty embarrassing.
This is Uncle Vic. This is actually not embarrassing.
But you said you come from divorced parents, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You might too.
Today,
after today.
Jerry sounds
very embarrassing, that phone call.
Mom sounds angry. So we'll see what it's like. Is any tips for her before I go meet my wife?
There was one time I did have someone over, actually, and we were sitting in the room and we heard from the other room like a sound. And then when we went into that room, there was like a pile of shit on the floor.
What?
And my dad tried to say it wasn't him, but we all knew it was him.
What?
Wait. What? You shit on the floor?
Yeah.
You shit on the floor?
I shit on the floor?
What?
When did I
We
shit
can
on
end on that, but
No, we're we're not ending on that. This is.
Did you shit on the
you're
floor,
gonna
Howie?
finish this.
Did you lay a landmine, Howie?
Do we have a picture?
Well, I don't like
it was before like we all had cell phones. I was really young.
Oh my God. You did. Did you never tell him this?
No, he knows. He knows what I'm talking about.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to.
It was when my friend Shotty Bailey was over. It was when Shotty Bailey was over. We went into the other room and there was just shit on the floor. It was before we had our dogs.
Was it just like an emergency
You're
situation?
blaming it on the dogs. And he goes,
It couldn't have been anyone.
you're looking around like, wait a second, that wasn't me.
You're looking for help.
You could wrap it up on that.
Do we have any rhyme or reason for this shit, or was it just one of those days?
Well, because I eat a lot of roughage.
It's an interesting family. Okay.
Next time they ask for a +1, are you going to be inviting me?
Yeah, he's all smiles now, and then he's going to be
Last
like,
time I'm invited to someone else's podcast that we don't have control over.
he goes, you're off the
That's why we don't go
podcast.
live.
So I shit on the floor. Well, it's my own house.
Let him know. Let him know.
They asked for one more embarrassing story.
There, you gave him one.
That's great. That's
great. That should be you make that the tease.
You wouldn't be the first person to shit on the floor.
No.
honestly.
In my house, I was.
I mean, I've never done it, but I'm sure other
There's still hope for you. There's still hope for you, Jackie.
It's not too late.
Johnny Depp's wife.
Oh, that was the bed.
Yeah, but
Amber Heard. You and Amber Heard.
That was the bed.
Yeah,
that
but
was
his
the bed.
shit came from love. It came from a loving place.
My
You
dad's
guys-
full of love too.
And fiber.
What is okay? Before we go, we'll do this one last
my
thing.
mascara's running down. Yeah.
No,
ahead.
that's
Before we go,
probably the
what?
best. We'll do the one last thing,
What?
and Tony will ask the favorite,
What?
Oh yeah, what do you love about each other?
the most,
The most.
the most.
The most.
What do you love about me now, Dad?
He goes, yeah.
What do you love about
Do you
me?
have anything you love about her anymore?
So open. What do I love about her?
Yeah, the most.
the most.
What do you love about each other the most? That's our thing.
What do you love about the most? I like that.
But you're so supportive. You're always there for me whenever I need you. And I know I can always count on you for everything. Love you, Dad.
Yeah, it better be
She's
good.
just
After you tell her
envisioning
everybody
this
shits on the floor.
I can't think of anything.
She's just picturing
I
the
can't
shit
think
now.
of anything.
Yeah.
He's got nothing for you now.
Nothing but turds. No.
You got nothing
Thank you.
for her.
I got nothing. I got that. No,
That's so mean.
No, there's
Why?
so many things. There's so many things. There are so many things.
But he goes, but right now I'm not going to tell
Mom's
anybody.
calling. She's at the restaurant. She wants me to leave.
So many things.
Yeah.
You got nothing?
You don't love me?
I do.
Why do you love me?
I think you know why. I think you know why.
I'm like a vault. I keep all of the secrets.
Clearly.
Yeah. I'm not telling you any of my secrets.
Clearly.
That's why.
Nothing? You don't want to share anything you love about her? Just one thing. Give us one thing.
I mean, look, they're having a subconscious connection.
Yeah.
I think that says it all. I think that says it all.
It's
Look
okay.
at that.
Laughter. We share laughter.
Okay. That's
Laughter
fair.
is the best medicine.
Yeah, look, she's
I mean,
making
And laughter is the best
What does my
medicine.
makeup look like?
And I've overdosed.
Well, the good news is we had you on the podcast. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And now we just completely destroyed your family. You're getting a divorce. Your daughter spills secrets, and you're mad at her. So we just completely annihilized your whole family.
We're good.
We've been through worse.
We're good. Yeah.
We're good.
We've been through worse. Doesn't that say that to you?
That's most families.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for
thank you for
for
hosting
sharing your
us.
shit story. And
oh well, you went back to the shit. Okay, you can't get away from the shit now. always go back to the shit.
have you seen Rick Glassman's podcast? He opens up with diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to be nice. I was thanking them for hosting us in their space, and you just talk about turds.
I would say any time, but it's up to him.
No, seriously though, on a positive note, Howie, I always respected you. I appreciate you. You're a very nice and funny guy.
I respect you even more.
I think that's actually that's probably something I like about you more.
Yeah.
But you're hilarious. You're awesome. Jackie, you're fucking.
That was great.
You're outrageously insane. I love that.
Thank you.
I like that you guys are close, and thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you.